Creamy, chocolatey, and super airy. This is the only chocolate mousse recipe you'll ever need. Hi, I'm Astrid from the Sweet Rebellion, and today we're going to be making a classic chocolate mousse. Chocolate mousse is one of my personal favorite desserts. I absolutely love it. It's actually quite easy to make, although I must admit it does create a lot of dishes. There's many different ways to make a chocolate mousse. Some people use just cream and some people prefer to use just eggs. I've made this recipe many times and I find it best to use both. This way you'll ensure that your chocolate mousse is rich and creamy, but also light and airy. If you want to make this along with me, the recipe is on my blog. Just look in the description bar for the link. To make this chocolate mousse, you'll need 350 ml of cream, 200 grams of milk chocolate, 200 grams of dark chocolate, 6 eggs separated, 2 tablespoons of white sugar, generous pinch of salt, and 2 tablespoons of butter. The first step in making our chocolate mousse is melting our chocolate. I like to use half dark chocolate and half milk chocolate, but you could use 400 grams of the chocolate of your choice. I like to add 2 tablespoons of butter to my chocolate when melting it. It makes the chocolate a little bit thinner and easier to work with, and also helps the chocolate mousse to set up nicely. You've heard me say this a million times, but it really is important to use the best quality chocolate that you can afford. Because chocolate is the main ingredient in this dessert, you really will taste the difference. You can melt this in the microwave, however it is a little bit risky because chocolate has a tendency to burn quite easily. I prefer to do it in a double boiler. Just make sure that you use a heat-proof bowl and that the bowl doesn't touch the simmering water underneath. Once our chocolate and butter have melted, we're going to just put it into another bowl so that it will cool down a bit faster. Make sure to use a big bowl because this is where we'll be folding in the egg whites and cream later. The next step is to whisk the egg yolks together so that I can add it to my chocolate once it's cooled. Because we're using raw eggs in this recipe, I suggest you use pasteurized eggs. You can find these at a supermarket, or if you're unable to find them, you can also pasteurize your eggs yourself. All you need to do is heat a saucepan of water to 60 degrees, place your eggs in for 3 minutes and remove them. This just ensures that they are free from salmonella. Now we're going to whip our cream to stiff peak stage. Make sure that your cream is ice cold when you do this so that it whips to maximum volume. I like to whip my cream in a deep jug like this so that it doesn't splatter everywhere. The next step is to whip our egg whites to stiff peak stage. I'm going to add a little bit of salt to my egg whites, and this is for 2 reasons. First of all, it's going to help our egg whites to become nice and stiff. And second of all, a little bit of salt helps to balance out all the sweetness in the chocolate mousse. I'll start by whipping the egg whites and salt, and once it's at soft peak stage, I'll add in the sugar and continue whipping until it's at stiff peak stage. Normally when we make a meringue, the sugar helps to stabilize the egg whites. Because we've only got 2 tablespoons of sugar, it is quite easy to overwhip the egg whites and they'll become dry and separate. So just be careful not to overwhip them. This is what you want your stiff peaks to look like. Now we've got all of our elements ready, it's time to mix everything together. First we're going to add our egg yolks to the chocolate and make sure that your chocolate has cooled down so that you don't scramble your eggs. Then we're going to fold in our whipped cream. If you like a boozy chocolate mousse, this is the point in the recipe where you can add a few tablespoons of liqueur when you're folding in your cream. Or you can add any other flavorings that you like. So now we've added our egg yolks for richness, our whipped cream for the creamy texture, and lastly we're going to fold in our egg whites for that light airiness. So I like to add 1 big spoonful of egg whites to the mixture first and just stir that through to lighten it, and then it's a lot easier to fold in the rest of the egg whites. It's very important to fold your egg whites into the mixture so that you don't deflate it and lose all that air that you've beat into the egg whites. A folding motion is basically scraping around the outside of the bowl and then flipping it down through the middle. And you're just going to repeat that motion until everything's incorporated. And be sure to scrape down at the bottom of your bowl where the chocolate tends to settle. Once all of your egg white has been incorporated, you can either place this into a serving dish and chill it for about 4 hours, or you can divide it into little serving glasses. You could use champagne flutes or any pretty glasses that you like. I'm going to be doing this with a piping bag just to make sure that it comes out really nice and neat. Once your chocolate mousse has chilled for 4 hours, it should be nice and set. I like to serve mine with some tart berries like raspberries or strawberries and a little bit of whipped cream to decorate. And there you have it, my classic chocolate mousse. I hope you enjoyed this video and that you give this recipe a try. Remember, if you do, to tag me on social media.